Welcome back. You're watching Newslink. Now, liquor traders are being empowered to spot illicit alcohol. This is happening in partnership with the SAPS at key locations across Gauteng and the Western Cape. It's hoped it will reduce the illicit and counterfeit alcohol trade, which officials say has mushroomed over the past 3 years since the outbreak of COVID-19, as well as the alcohol bans. Let's discuss this further with Lucky Ntimane, who's the convener of the National Liquor Traders. Thank you very much for your time this morning. And maybe if you could just clarify for us what exactly defines illicit alcohol. We say fake alcohol and illicit alcohol, but what exactly are we referring to when we speak about illicit alcohol?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. So there are clear differences between what we call illicit and counterfeit alcohol. So illicit alcohol, the contents of which are genuine and are fit for human consumption. Now, the key differentiator there is that these are products that are manufactured in South Africa and they are meant for export purposes. But somehow they find their way back into the country. And we need to understand in the perspective of a spirit, for example, that a bottle of 750 ml carries with it about 76 rand odd. That is due to tax. Now, if these products are sold or they are bought with an intention to be sold in the outside markets, it means that product does not attract that 76 rand or odd money that is due to SARS. So now these people are able then to undercut the market because they are bringing the product back that does not carry that tax implication. But if you look at the counterfeit, these are what we call in the township slang Fong Kong. So these are fake products, the contents of which are not fit for human consumption. They use a whole manner of things inside there. Some have been found to have glycerin, and they use spirit methylated spirits and also methanol, which is very dangerous for human consumption. I mean, a teaspoon of methanol is enough to kill an adult. So these are the products that, we are concerned that they are finding their way not just in the townships, but also in the alcohol space. Just to give you an example, now we are experiencing a scenario where, because the markets have now been created where this alcohol is needed, where people are now organizing themselves to hijack our trucks. 4 weeks ago, one of the major brands in the country was hit with stock worth 20 million rand. Just across the road from us, a distributor was also hit 2 weeks ago, stock worth over 10 million rand. So these guys are now finding ways in which to fill in the gap of the products that they have now created a demand for during lockdown. So this worries us, even though some of these products that are stolen obviously are fit for human consumption, but the fact that they are feeding into criminal elements worries us a lot.
Yeah, it's very worrying indeed. And I mean, we've just mentioned in the intro that this is a campaign you're taking on alongside the SAPS. And what exactly is the role that the SAPS will be playing here when it comes to recognizing and confiscating the availability of illicit and counterfeit alcohol?
So this is a wider project that not only includes SAPS, but also it includes SARS and other law enforcement officials, because we are now dealing with organized criminals. So SAPS comes in a form of just the arrest and making the necessary investigations, and SARS comes in a manner of identifying the tax loopholes that these people are able to bring in the alcohol into the country, but also those that are selling in a way that should not be permitted. So it's a multifaceted approach, but we're also partnering with the Consumer Goods Council of South Africa, as well as the South African Liquor Brand Owners Association, which owns a majority of these brands that are being faked. But we also have, through our partnership with Consumer Goods Council of South Africa, established a hotline where people can call to report, any instance of illicit or counterfeit alcohol. Maybe with your permission, I can just give out the number where people can call to report these incidents. It's 0800 014 856. I'll repeat it again, 0800 014 856.
And with that in mind, I don't want to make any assumptions because there are various investigations that are currently underway. But what we saw happen at eNCA Tavern, for example, there were a lot of debates and conversations about illicit or Fong Kong alcohol being given to these young people that lost their lives. And so for tavern owners, how do they know when something is not real in terms of alcohol, when it's got the glycerine or the methanol levels that you spoke to us about earlier?
So our liquor traders need to continue buying products from established distributors. from reputable suppliers, and they know who those are. But now what we have picked up in our campaigns that we have launched in Pretoria, and also we have ran this in the Western Cape and also KZN, is that there is that greater need from the side of taverns to want to buy something that is cheaper so that they can augment their profit margins. Now, that's where the problem is, because these unscrupulous manufacturers who are selling this illicit and counterfeit know that, taverns are desperate to make a quick buck. Then they'll go to them and sell these products. So taverners, yes, they might want to aim to make a much higher profit, but it is compromising the health of our people, and they should not do that. So what the giveaways of this product is that it is cheap, and it is sold by people that are not known, that are not established, that are not reputable. We have enough reputable suppliers in the country to be able to fill in the demand of the alcohol space. So buying from someone who drives with a bakkie, or people that now what we call a criminal intent recycling, where these people go into taverns and they want to buy empty bottles so that they can refill them with these illicit or illegal concoctions. So those are the things that are a key giveaway. And taverns should stay away from buying alcohol that is cheap, because if it is too good to be true, it usually is.
And you engage quite a bit with tavern owners, and I'm just wondering, from your different engagements, have you found yourself in a situation where you have found that tavern owners are not only buying counterfeit liquor, but are also producing it themselves?
So we have established beyond doubt that some of our liquor traders have been duped into buying illicit or counterfeit alcohol, that we admit. But what we haven't picked up is the liquor traders now expanding themselves a skill to make these counterfeit alcohol. We have not picked that up, but if they are, we are saying to them that the law is going to descend on them, and they must desist from doing such.
Yeah. Let's talk about broader alcohol issues that exist in the country. South Africa often talked about as quite a big drinking country, with the beer industry contributing quite a bit to the economy. And I'm just wondering, your relationship with the traders that we have in the industry, but also the suppliers and the manufacturers. How do you guys create a balance in making sure that people are consuming alcohol in a responsible manner? And I'll tell you why I ask this. We are entering the festive season. And of course, people wanting to be festive will consume whatever they will. So that responsible drinking, but also making sure that those who sell and supply are also making the money that they need to contribute to the economy.
So the alcohol industry has invested heavily in alcohol harm reduction initiatives through the body called aware.org. But also SAP has established its own body to look at some of these issues that pertain to irresponsible usage of alcohol through their SHARP campaign. So the alcohol industry as a whole is committed to ensuring that people drink responsibly this festive season. But also we have partnered with Santaco, for example, on issues of road safety and also issues of drink and drive. We are also undertaking some campaigns across the country on issues of underage drinking, because we know, like we've seen in the issue of eNCA, that this is something that we cannot afford to ignore anymore. We know that in our townships, there are traders that are selling alcohol to minors, and we cannot afford to turn a blind eye on that. But also we've got an issue of shebeens, those outlets that are not licensed to sell alcohol. And those are the ones that have been found to actually be selling alcohol to minors, because they've got nothing to lose. They don't have a license. They don't have any rules, to follow. But we are saying that, we should be able to come together as civil society, as communities, and report, any behaviors that are going, to cast a negative light on the alcohol industry. I mean, as a whole, just looking at the alcohol industry, the value chain alone employs over 1 million people. The tavern sector employs over 250,000 people. The hospitality sector employs over 700,000 people. So this is a significant industry. But we know that we have rotten apples. We have people that put their profits ahead of the lives of our people, and we are calling those to stop, with their actions, because it harms our industry, which supports a lot of jobs and contributes significantly to the economy.
Just a final thought from you. You bring up a very important topic, which I wish we had more time to ventilate: the licensing of liquor licenses in terms of selling alcohol. How big of a problem is this? And have you found, since the eNCA tragedy happened, or maybe previously to that, is there active engagement in trying to regulate it in such a way that the licenses that are issued in an not only efficient manner, but to establishments that are actually going to follow the law, and of course the oversight that comes subsequent to that?
I think the bigger problem with the license regime in South Africa is that it is cluttered. We have 9 provinces, meaning that we've got 9 different liquor laws. If we want to address the issue, especially of irresponsible usage and trading of alcohol, we need to be able to have one law. We need to rally behind one law in the country so that we're able to address issues that emanate from irresponsible usage and trading of alcohol. As it stands now, we've got some provinces which are very difficult, for black traders to get licenses. For example, the Western Cape is anti-township. We're not getting support there whatsoever. There are no licenses that are being issued, to locals there, but licenses are being issued to shopping malls. In Gauteng, for example, they've passed the Township Development Act, which seeks to improve the lives of those that trade in the township space, including the alcohol industry. So, it varies in terms of the support that we're getting in issuing licenses. But we are saying that we feel that as a country, licenses should be issued to those that are deserving, because selling alcohol comes with a huge responsibility. It should not just be given willy-nilly. We need to have checks and balances to ensure that whoever we give a liquor license to sell alcohol is fit and proper to be able to do so.
Thank you very much for your time, Lucky. We appreciate it. That is Lucky Ntimane, who's from the National Liquor Traders, joining us to speak about the festive season, but also the issues around counterfeit and illicit alcohol, its prevalence in the current economy and the impact that it would have, but also calling on traders to be responsible in their trading of liquor this festive season.